Please don't tell me that Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney fight is in jeopardy. Oh, man. Oh, man. Nah, I'm faking. I ain't that sad and stuff like that. But anyway, I think it's a good fight. It's a good fight, but it's not a fight that we've been asking for, clamming for. Yo, we need to see Brian Norman versus Devin Haney, one of the greatest fights in the... No, but it's a good fight. It's a good fight. But Bill Haney is pressuring Brian Norman Jr. to enroll into Vada 365, to roll into testing beyond whatever is contractual of the timetables on when they need to be tested and things of that nature. I would say this, right? Turkey I'll shake, and I'll get to the Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. testing, right? But I believe that if Turkey I'll shake could throw a bunch of money to Canelo Alvarez, $100 million to fight Bud Crawford, he's gonna get probably $50-60 million, right? Look at Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, $114 million for one fighter, $70 million for the other fighter. If Turkey I'll shake wants to change the sport of boxing, right? He want to change the belts. He want to change the rankings. He want to change the refs. He wants to change the scoring. Nor the time and Jerry, nor the pay-per-view. How about everyone that's going to be on the Ring Magazine events, that he will pay for everybody's drug test? Everybody that's willing to participate, sign up right now on my event, and I will pay for the 365 Vada testing and things of that nature. I think that will be good for the sport of boxing, right? He's talking a lot about changing. Let him change that. We get that thing out of the way, right? Easy money, easy for Turkey I'll shake. Now, I think that Devin Haney and Bill Haney, they had the list with which the fighters they want to fight, and got to give credit to Devin Haney. He didn't back down from no fight, right? But I think the reason why they truly picked Brian Norman Jr. is because if they don't pick Brian Norman Jr. and if Turkey I'll shake wasn't interested in Brian Norman Jr. after the knockout victory out there in Japan, then who they was going to fight, how they was going to get the bag. Because without Turkey I'll shake, I don't think that Devin Haney is going to get the bag by just working with DAZN and Eddie Hearn. He was not going to get the bag with Top Rank. He's not going to get the bag with Golden Boy Promotions. So it's really... Devin Haney did not sign just to fight Brian Norman Jr. He just signed to fight whoever is willing to fight him under Turkey I'll shake. Because that's where they're going to get the big bag. That's where they're going to maintain their value up. Is the reason why they didn't want to fight Teofimo Lopez with the Top Rank deal. It's the reason why they didn't want to go through the purse bid with Sando Martin through the Top Rank deal, because they wanted to get more money with Turkey I'll shake, and which is business. It is what it is, right? But I think he wouldn't to fight anybody to maintain that type of value. And it is what it is. At least Devin Haney ain't scared of nobody to fight. But maybe they could be looking at it like, yo, if I lose to Brian Norman Jr., who am I really losing to? See, I lost to Ryan Garcia. Well, he got his win back, right? But if you lose to with Tank, people expect him to lose to Tank. If you lose to Teofimo, he loses to Teofimo Lopez respectfully as Teofimo Lopez, right? If he loses to Shakur Stevenson, well, he loses to Shakur Stevenson. But Brian Norman Jr. just came on the scene. Brian Norman Jr. hasn't beaten really nobody, right? Great outings, right? Knockout victories and stuff like that. He looking spectacular in a very, very now weak division. Outside of Manny Pacquiao, you already know Manny Pacquiao's going to be performing versus Mario Barrios. Outside of Manny Pacquiao, the 8th Division World Champion, 5-time lineal, 12-time World Champion, the ambassador, the senator, the humanitarian, the greatest karaoke singer of them all, the GOAT, Manny Pacquiao. Without him in the welterweight division, Devin Haney is probably the biggest name in the welterweight division right now, right? The division is highly weak, and that's why I think it's perfect for even Devin Haney to step in 147, or all these other guys in 140 to step to the 147-pound division right now. Boots Ennis, he avoided the Teofimo Lopez fight, and the Virgil Ortiz at 154. He's going to 154, but Virgil Ortiz ain't even ready because he had hand surgery. But is the jeopardy because the testing, in which is fair, I understand. Think about it. Their biggest downfall, right, was losing to Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia did pop for Osterin for PEDs. So it's fair. I don't want people to be like, oh no, Bill and Devin is making this a big thing. Let's not forget that the person that they had their downfall, they popped dirty. So why wouldn't they be extra caution with a fight with anybody that needs to? They should be extra caution and make people test. I understand that because their career, they lost value. Remember, come on, we all know what happened. The whole year of the rest of the year 2024 leading up to the fight with May 2nd. So, but another thing, again, like I said in the beginning, who's going to pay for this testing? The testing is very expensive. The reason why Devin Haney and Bill Haney could easily say, hey, yo, go test and roll in the Vada testing and roll. We 365. Why you going to be in 365? Ain't nobody in the boxing 365. As a matter of fact, you don't pay for the testing because Victor Conte pays for the testing. So it's easy for somebody to say, hey, yo, buy this, enroll to this, but you're not paying for it. And let me tell you like this, if Devin Haney was not sponsored by Victor Conte, Devin Haney himself wouldn't be paying for the 365 because he's the only fighter enroll. That's like hustling backwards. The reason why they could do it is because they're sponsored by Snack. And they don't have to pay all that money, right? They don't pay at all, or they have it on a discount. You know what I'm saying? So, some of these people are acting like a snack Vada enrollment as a broker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I got you this fighter, and I get a percentage off for what they're gonna be paying y'all. That's what's happening, right? If y'all don't know in the sport of boxing. But the testing costs the line. That's why I said that Turkey Al-Sheikh should be paying for the testing. I think a lot of things can happen. I'm going to tell you like this. Maybe we saw... Damn, I wish if it wasn't for the mandatory, I wish that... Think about it. In 140, Devin Haney is still a champion in recess. Right? I think, though, he's still a champion in recess. He could go back to 140 and fight Subriel Matias in November rather than Subriel fight this guy Smith and Devin Haney fights Brian Norman. Even though that Matias is looking kind of rough and rugged, right? He's looking rough. It'll be a tough outing as well. I don't know. If it's in jeopardy over the testing, I think that it will be understood, but that's not what you signed for. So how about you? Y'all had the press conference. Y'all signed up for the fight. I want to know how. As a matter of fact, it seems kind of weird how these contracts is contractual with Turkey Al-Sheikh. I think that Devin Haney has his deal with Turkey, and Brian Norman Jr. has his deal with Turkey, and it's not necessarily a negotiations between the two teams. Like, there's no split, if you understand what I'm trying to say. There's no negotiation between the two teams. So, I don't know. Maybe if it's in jeopardy, I don't think it will hurt either career. I think that Brian Norman Jr. does need a name like Devin Haney, in my opinion. But I don't think that Devin Haney actually needs Brian Norman Jr. right now. And it got to commend him for fighting a tough fight, but I believe that Devin Haney could beat Brian Norman Jr. I think he could outbox him. That's not, but I think that there's no just win-win situation. This could be a loss, and then you losing to Brian Norman Jr., and then what's next after that? Sometimes you probably rather lose to somebody that's highly accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Devin Haney and Richardson Hitchens, they've been going back and forth. Maybe they could just scratch that. And I think maybe now that Richardson Hitchens doesn't got to fight and know that Richardson Hitchens know that he can't get a Teofimo Lopez or Turkey Al-Sheikh, that's why you see a lot of back and forth with Richardson Hitchens and Devin Haney. And if they're going back and forth, why don't they jeopardize that fight with Brian Norman Jr. and go to a safer... I'm not going to say... Maybe I think Richardson Hitchens is probably a safer fight for Devin Haney. In terms of power and stuff like that with Richardson Hitchens, and they could build the fight like they've been building this fight going, you know what I'm saying? So maybe there's a strategic move. Let me know what y'all think. Punch Run. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Love you, God bless, and on to the next.